Welcome back to the Simple Farmhouse Life podcast. Today I'm chatting with Cami. She is a friend of mine. We've met in person multiple times. We actually got together over the summer. We met with a couple other blogging friends and did a private retreat back in, was it July, August? I don't even remember right now. I vlogged it over on my channel, but we were able to go explore the coast in Washington, which was beautiful. Luke and I were able to visit her and her husband out at their home several years ago, which was super fun. So we just go way back as friends and blogging friends. She has such a beautiful, bright, airy, really you just need to go see it over on Instagram, Cami Tidbits, or her blog, tidbits-cami.com. It is so inspirational. I followed her blog long before I started my own. I was a follower of her blog because it is just beautiful. She also just launched her planners for 2021. She designed planners that look almost like linen from the cover so that when they're on your bookshelf, they aren't an eyesore. They actually would just blend seamlessly in with any decor. We bought 4 notebooks for our school-aged kids so that they would have the beautiful Tidbits notebooks, and we use those daily. So if you're a planner, definitely check out Tidbits planners and notebooks. And she also recently launched a linen line. So many amazing things coming from my friend Cami over at Tidbits. So be sure to head over to her blog, tidbits-cami.com, and her Instagram. And then she also has a YouTube channel. You might know her because we've collaborated several times on different videos over there as well. In this episode, we're going to talk Christmas decor, the different styles that we've both had throughout the years, how we've changed in certain areas of our decor, what we're doing this year, how to decorate in transitional times when you feel like your house just isn't perfect, DIY Christmas. It's a really good discussion, and without further ado, join me on that. My name is Lisa, mom of 6 and creator of the blog and YouTube channel Farmhouse on Boone. Join me as I share with you my love for creating a handmade home from scratch cooking and a little mom and entrepreneur life along the way. You are in sort of a not really a transition, but you're in the middle of a house build. Is consider. We were there last year. I want to talk about that a little bit, like decorating. Is it worth it? How are you balancing all that?
That's a great topic. Because I think life is rarely predictable, and there's always ebbs and flows.
There's always something,
right?
Yes.
And I've had to learn. So we sold our home that we worked so hard on, and then we jumped into a rental, and then that was
that was
2
right?
Christmases ago.
Okay, so you haven't been in a
like a finished home,
quote unquote permanent finished type of situation for Christmas in several years,
right? And it's interesting how that has actually changed my mentality on how to decorate for Christmas. When we were in our home that we had worked so hard on and refined, and it was picture perfect to me.
Right.
I
saw that house.
Right. Right. You did. That was so fun. But, I really enjoyed it because I could explore more creativity. I could introduce different themes for Christmas and really play around. But as we've been in a stage of just flexibility, it's just simplified things for me in the most beautiful way, really. And that started kind of in the rental. It wasn't a beautiful home. It was so temporary. All of our stuff was in storage. And it was just I didn't even dig any of it out. We actually just created beautiful ornaments from dried oranges, dried apples, pine cones. We cut down the tree from the forest. It brought us back to kind of the roots. And I haven't been able to let go of those ornaments, like string popcorn, string cranberries that we dried. They're just so precious to me. That's actually what I'm pulling out again this year because it's so meaningful and simple, and I just want to build on that.
Yeah.
So
I feel like whenever I read old books, that's how they used to decorate. Christmas wasn't this, and not that there's anything wrong with it, but we always take
there's not. It's fun
to the extreme. We
right.
do. We just take it way beyond the original intention.
but probably somewhere around Christmas, maybe the week before, you got out the oranges and just made a little display. But now we're in October, we're thinking about Christmas pretty much.
Exactly. Right. And I don't know if that's just bloggers, but I think in general, the holiday season rolls in and we all kind of tend to think about it.
Yeah, I mean, there are people in my personal circle on Facebook who already had the tree up weeks ago, and I'm like, I'm not even ready. Like, wait, I'm supposed to be ahead of you guys, and I'm not at all ahead of you.
Oh, I've seen your pictures, though. The red that you're throwing in that home, it is so perfect. Oh, I just love what you're doing. It's so beautiful.
Of Homer Laughlin plates about a week ago. Just happened to find a 16-piece set. And I was like, really? Like the whole set? Yeah. Okay.
I know. That's amazing.
Cool.
You find the best deals. And was that at an antique store or off of Facebook?
Yeah, that was actually at an antique mall that usually is pretty high. I really only go to this antique shop when I want something specific because you'll pay way too much, but you'll find it because it's gonna, it's packed out. I wasn't looking for the plates. I had some other things on my mind. But I was like, okay, I guess it was surprising out of that store because normally that's not the case with them. So
you got lucky.
I really did.
Those are beautiful.
About that just jogged a little. I've been wanting to add some red to my tree because I don't really have anything red and I'm doing a lot of red. And I actually bought a little garland and I'm like, oh, wait. Cranberries in my refrigerator. So do you just string them or do you dry them first?
Yeah, the cranberries are tricky. I mean, like the oranges and apple slices, you can just, I think I've seen you do it. You just put them in your oven. But
yeah, you just slice them really thin, put them on about 200-ish for several hours. So that's easy.
That is easy.
I'm curious.
But I was playing around with it because, cranberries, they pack a lot of juice. So to get them dry, I don't know if the oven would be successful. So what we did a few years ago, or 2 years ago when we were in the rental, and they've held up. I just pulled them out. They still look amazing. We got a food dehydrator. I think my husband picked it up from Cabela's on his, points or whatever. And that's actually how we do the oranges and apples too. I find that with the food dehydrator, it preserves the color a lot better. And actually
it's a lower temp.
Yeah, and actually dries them out better, and that's why I think they've lasted so long. But that's what we did with the cranberries, and it took days in the dehydrator. I would check them every day.
Too late for that this year, but I definitely love the idea, especially because it would last year after year. I'm like, I'm just half tempted to string up some cranberries. And
the fresh ones. I mean, I think it's still beautiful. It would take a while.
They'd be beautiful, but you'd have to throw them away. It wouldn't
you would.
Work.
Yeah. No, I think you could still do it for this year. I'm talking it took like maybe 3 to 5 days in the dehydrator. So it could, if someone wants to do it, they could still definitely do it. But it's worth it. They've held up. I pull them out. They're not moldy. They don't smell. They're still just this deep, beautiful burgundy red. Oh, I just love them. And it just looks so natural on the tree.
Yeah. In some ways, red is another natural color. There's been this tendency over the past several years for people to avoid color, and it seems to really be coming back. But red feels like a neutral. Like in vintage rugs, it acts a little bit as a neutral.
And I love when it's kind of toned down, when it's got some black in it, so it's just very deep. And that's kind of my color this year.
Your red linen I was looking at on your linen ribbon.
Yes.
That's
so
like
pretty.
A very neutral way to do red if you don't want to do so poppy.
Right. I do struggle with like that Christmas red. I think it's really pretty if you're going for like a cottage Christmas, which I did do one year, but that Christmas red is really beautiful. But if you struggle with those bold colors, I think that deeper burgundy red is really a great color to bring in. And it does feel like a neutral. It's not, bright in your face.
Right.
It is a good option.
I totally busted out the in your face red this year. I even got
and it's totally working for your home. It is beautiful.
Yeah, I guess in some ways I was a little bit not really sure how the red Christmas decor goes. I'm not going to take down everything just because it's Christmas. I have blue everywhere, and it actually really works. I bought this plaid table cover it has a plaid with some blue, black, green. Kind of ties it in, but it totally works. Because like when I was a kid, I feel like my mom had a swap for everything. So everything on the hutch had a Christmas version of it. So every decor, all the decor would come down, and then the Christmas version would go up, you know?
Yeah.
But I have so much more decor than her. Yeah. And well, I just have a lot more. So my normal stuff has to fit in with Christmas in some ways. And that's why I normally did like the blue Christmas before, you know, but.
Yeah. And on that topic, I told you, I'm holding on to those dried oranges, the natural elements, the fresh greenery. And so I don't have a lot of boxes of that kind of style that I'm after. But, you know, I pulled out those oranges, I pulled out the string popcorn, the cranberries, and I feel like that base is just so easy to add on to. Like if I'm just tired, or if I want to play with the red, or if I do want to bring in some blues, that natural base, if you just keep with that, it's really easy to add on to year after year. If you want to try something new, if you want to pull in some brass or some silver, it's just...
Oh, I love pulling in brass, like bells. My daughter, the other day we were at the store and she's like, no more bells. You always buy the bells. Like, oh, bells.
How can you not?
I know. I'm like, oh yeah, I do have like 1,000 bells, but I just love them. Do you have any tips? Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay. That's what I wanted to add this year too. I've grabbed some that, you know, they look antique. They're not antique, but they look good. And so I'm going to add that to the tree as well. So
I feel like
I'm excited to share that
and they're more available. I feel like a few years ago I couldn't really find bells, and now the vintage looking bells are pretty
good.
Yeah, they're pretty much everywhere, but they're beautiful.
Yeah, I found them on Etsy, on Amazon. I mean, they're pretty available.
Yeah, they are. So do you have any tips for greenery? I get asked that a lot, and to be honest, I lay fresh greenery on my hutch and cabinets, and it does just dry up and flake off throughout the year, but it does last as well. So I didn't know if there's any tips. I'm lazy way.
Yeah. You know, I've read all the tips, and I'm not going to say I do them all.
Okay.
But what I've learned is that when you get some fresh garland or just some like stem picks, even from outside, or if you order them, whatever is available to you, if you'll soak those in the bathtub or your sink before you actually put them up, let them soak. And then that will really get them very moist, and they'll last a lot longer. And then you can kind of spritz them with water throughout. You know, ideally, I think if you're getting fresh greenery, fresh wreaths, you should probably wait, you know, first, second week of December, and then they'll be super fresh still, I think, by Christmas. But, you know, if you're like us and we've got to take pictures and do things, then... Yeah, you know, I don't worry too much about if they're dry and crispy on my mantle or hanging on the doors. They still look really pretty.
Yeah, I mean, I've left mine up for by the end of it, ball green, and they're crispy, but they're still going.
They're still beautiful.
I mean, they're still there. They're greenish, so to me, it works.
Right. You get your bang for the buck.
Yeah, I do. I mean, I just have been clipping things outdoor, like just on our property, you know. I'm sure you have some evergreen trees where you guys are. Yeah. Probably a lot. We just have one, but it's plenty. It's a huge tree, so it works great.
And what are you doing with everything you're clipping?
I did garland on sill, and then put in little bits of eucalyptus. It's really pretty. I love it. And then I also put some bases around with it in there. And then I also put some on the dining room hutch. And then I bought a lot of faux garlands. I started my collection last year, and then I added a whole bunch more this year. But they've been making some pretty darn realistic looking ones.
They're convincing. I often can't tell the difference in photos. Yeah. But there's something to me about bringing that smell. In fact, this last Sunday, we went to the mountains and cut down the tree. We actually cut down 2. We got permits for 2. And so we got 2 big ones. It was quite a feat to haul it out of the mountain. But the other one, we chopped it just really small and put it in our kids' room. And then I'm using all the branches from that. And I'll just sprinkle it around the house. And
oh, how pretty.
That's one way to get the fresh greenery, because you really can't beat that fresh pine smell or cedar smell, whatever you're picking. It's, to me, that is Christmas. But the faux works, I mean, it totally works and will serve its purpose.
And it will be less messy because I hung the faux going up our staircase. And
that would
I
be a mess.
It would have been a mess. Yeah, it would have been a big mess.
Yeah.
Whenever you put it on something that's like a ledge, you know, it doesn't really go to the floor. But if it's something hanging, it will. We had last year on YouTube, everybody was like, I would just think if you, that's fine. But I did that one year. It was just such a mess. It was such a mess.
Yeah.
Especially when you have curious toddlers that just go up there and hit it. I mean, that was
going to be everywhere.
That was not something I wanted to do again, even though we grew up with a real tree. It was a beautiful, beautiful smell. But, you know.
Yeah. And I love it, but I'm going to be agreeing with you 100% when it's time to take it down.
Yeah.
And we have pine needles everywhere.
Yeah. And just lots of sweeping throughout the season, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But there will be some inconvenience. I mean, the whole decorating for Christmas is inconvenient, but it's all about the mood that it creates and the tradition. So, you know, whatever.
And that's when, you know, where we found our life in such kind of chaotic inconsistency the last few years. I still always wanted to bring that in, you know, no matter where we were, no matter what situation we found ourselves in. It, you know, it may not have been as elaborate as our previous home, but still you just do it for the kids, even if it's so much effort. It's worth it. Anywhere, any season of life, it's worth it.
I remember when I was a kid, when we get out the Christmas decor, just how exciting that was.
Yeah.
We're doing the Christmas decor today.
I loved it. I've seen my 14-year-old, you know, she's getting to that teenage stage and you don't think that you'll see the magic, but she just sits by the tree and curls up with a book, and it's just the sweetest darn thing. I love it. I love it.
So did you guys get a Christmas tree in the camper, or was it Christmas?
Oh heavens, thank goodness we weren't in there.
Oh, okay.
No, so last year when we lived in the RV, we moved into our new home, which was so unfinished, like concrete floors, no doors, toilet in a hole. It was a bad situation, but we moved in like the week after Thanksgiving. And we didn't have furniture, but we went to the mountains, we cut the tree and we put it up. I pulled out the sliced oranges, the cranberries, and, you know, it still just felt sweet and wonderful. It's just something we had to do.
Right.
To feel normal.
Yeah.
To get through that stage.
Yeah. Well, last year we were renovating our kitchen during that. And part of me was like, I'm just not going to decorate. But there's so many other little spaces. I mean, we still have bedrooms. Mm-hmm. We still have a living room. It wasn't exactly in the style I wanted it just yet. But you can still add some cheery moments no matter what stage of life you're in. I think we ended up getting our kitchen finally done like the week before Christmas, as far as I remember.
Oh boy,
I blocked it.
That's timing. I know, seriously. Those times it's like, we made it through. We did what we needed to do, and now I'm just gonna forget about that.
Right, exactly. Oh man, do you have any favorite Christmas side out? Grill. One year I did the Scandinavian minimal, and when I look back at those photos, I'm like,
I love that.
See, I feel like it was so bare.
Oh, you didn't like it?
Mm-hmm. I loved it at the time, but now it just looks very bare and very not done, you know, but I'm sure at the time.
And I guess I've never done that, but I've admired the pictures because it feels simple. It doesn't feel like you're going to have to pull out totes and totes.
Well, that was my reason for it. Yeah, I just don't want to have to store everything. But see, now I'm making this shift, which I tell people I'm allowed to change my mind.
Oh, we are, and we will. Yeah. No, can I take you through all the themes that we've done?
I love that.
Because I mean, you know me, Lisa. I'm a planner. I just have to. I have to put a name to things. Right. But I have to through the years, I wrote down all the themes that we've been through, and I've shared them all on the blog, but they're just so fun to kind of review. There's just, you know, when you walk into a Christmas store and there's the trees, you know, there's the blue Christmas and the white Christmas and the woodsy Christmas and the plaid Christmas. I think they're fun. I know it's not super realistic for everybody to think I'm going to switch out my Christmas decor every year, but like you mentioned, you can maybe maybe there's a reading nook that you want to bring in the blues, or in a kid's bedroom, you want to get really colorful. So it's just really fun to explore these ideas. So
yes.
If you'll amuse me for a minute, I'll talk you through all the themes that I've done.
Yeah.
Okay. So when we were like dirt poor, my husband was going to college and the sole income, for our family, we just went to Walmart, and I just always wanted a blue Christmas. So we just got like the cheapest glittery blue ornaments, and that's just where it all started.
That was your first year of marriage?
It was sweet, and there was right, a blue Christmas. And then we finally moved into like a home, and I loved the idea of, I called it my way back when Christmas. And I just kind of thought of like Christmases, when they were just really simple, a little bit like now, but it was more, I took like mauve and creams and browns. We made everything was homemade. Every ornament was homemade. I made like little brown paper packages that were ornaments, and aged some music sheets and rolled them up, and like I found little wooden tops and we made them into ornaments. Like it was just, I don't know, it was pretty charming. I made stockings out of like thrifted sweaters that I got at the thrift store. So anyway, those blog posts are pretty hideous, but I just can't take them down because it's just, nostalgic for me.
Yeah. I mean,
so that was the way back when Christmas.
And so just real quick,
right.
I will put links to all of this in the show notes.
Oh, awesome. Great. Yeah. So then when we got our home that we lived in for the longest, the home you came and visited in, then I did a cottage Christmas, and that sounds a little bit like what you're doing now, like the bold reds, the traditional kind of style with, I think I even threw in some, like coastal blues or greens just to make it feel cottage. So that was a fun one, kind of vintage Santa in there.
Ooh, I actually love that this year. I was looking at the antique shop.
Yeah, that would go good with your house.
I just didn't find anything just yet, but hopefully eventually I will add that to the collection.
Yeah, that would be fun. I think what I did there, I remember printing like vintage Santa pictures, and then I would Mod Podge them on like a wood plaque, and then we'd hang them on the tree. It was really cute.
Oh.
Yeah, so that was the cottage Christmas, and then I had a colorful Christmas, which was like so out of the norm.
I remember that one.
Do you remember that one? It started because I got a job with Balsam Hill, and I noticed they had a white tree, and I'm like, if I'm going to do a fake tree, it's going to be different, right? So I got their white tree, and I just wanted that to be a canvas, and so we just threw in just pops of color, not super like bold bright, but it was more along the lines of like aqua blues and pastel pinks. And my husband did not like that one. In fact, he's like, should we just get rid of these ornaments? I'm like, no. If a kid wants them later on, we'll pass them down.
Right, because that would be just like a ready-made concept for them.
Oh yeah, right. And I had 3 little girls at the time. It was magical for them. I made stockings out of like colorful velvet pillow covers that I would thrift.
Oh, I remember this so well. This was only a few years ago, right?
Yeah. Yeah, probably. Well, probably 4 years ago.
Has it been that long?
It was fun. It was so, yeah, I know. It was so different out of the normal that it was just
memorable.
Fun. But then I brought it, then the Christmas after that, I wanted to tie in more with the style of my home. So we did like a French farmhouse, and that was probably my favorite. I made stockings out of like grain sacks, or it was just very naturalistic, lots of greens. Our tree was just a real tree. We sat it in a bucket, and I just put very minimal ornaments on there. That one was probably my favorite, the French farmhouse. And then it went to the, and then it was, the rental and everything, which is, I call it just kind of the natural Christmas decor with the oranges and cranberries. And so I'm trying to bring that style because I really, really love it. It feels very natural, I guess. And then I wanted to tie in more like old world European farmhouse, so it kind of fits the style of this new home. So lots of fun themes. There's still so many fun ideas out there for people. I mean, you can do the Scandinavian, the rustic, the cabin, the white Christmas, the blue Christmas, the pink Christmas. In fact, I have like dozens of Pinterest boards dedicated to like Christmas styles.
Oh, I think
just because it's so fun to curate those and look through them for inspiration. And anyway, fun stuff.
And I was thinking about how much decor you can also add with packaging if you wrap presents early. I feel like my tree's always really bare, and then I put presents under them, and then it really, that's a great way. Beautiful.
Right. And and I have found a solution for that, because it's not very normal for people to just wrap empty boxes like bloggers sometimes do. But what I have found, I love getting like boxes that will last for years and then just tying them with ribbon, and actually like Christmas morning. So like for my pictures, or if I'm wanting those packages under the tree before I actually have the presents, I'll just get out those colored boxes, tie it with pretty ribbon, just throw some greenery under the ribbon. But then when I get the gifts for the kids, I actually put them in the boxes. And then Christmas, there's no wrapping paper mess. You can reuse the boxes. That is my new favorite. I just ordered some black boxes. I'm going to use like black with the red ribbon.
See, that would look
some greenery in there.
Right now, I have just wrapped presents because my sister and we have I think like a 6-year long tradition of going Christmas shopping early with another friend of ours. And so we actually already did our
how fun.
Shopping, but I just have loud, ugly wrapping paper presents under the tree right now.
Which is okay. I don't want people to feel like it has to be this curated look. That's totally okay.
It is really pretty what you have under the tree with the boxes and the ribbon.
Right.
And,
It is.
I don't think most people,
and so that's a solution. If people don't want to
shop early, I don't think
ahead.
That's, most people don't have the presents whenever it's actually time to decorate for Christmas.
Right. No. So the boxes is a good solution. You can pull it out every year and just get creative with your ribbon or what kind of present toppers you put on there. You can kind of get that curated look, and it's still very practical.
Do you have any good sources for, like, where are your favorite places to shop for Christmas decor? If you're like me, it's probably a lot of different random things, but
right. If I'm after something very specific, of course, Amazon, especially these days where online shopping is just the best or only option. But like you talked about, like I love going to the antique stores and just picking up unique pieces.
Collecting it.
We found this really cool, like chippy wood train that we put under the tree this year. My son was just so thrilled.
Oh, that would be adorable.
And just finding lots of like brass elements. And so I love, that would be like my choice of the best afternoon in the world, going to the antique stores and picking out just some really special, unique pieces.
And then handmade. You mentioned a few things that you have made or that you have tutorials for on your blog.
Yeah, if someone feels like really inspired or excited to do like a themed Christmas, you could spend hundreds, probably even thousands, trying to curate this whole new look for your
won't
Christmas
even get
decor.
You anywhere.
Oh, it really won't. If you're talking like new tree, new ornaments, like just, it's not totally feasible, especially when at a time you got to buy gifts. So really handmade is just the sweetest option. It'll mean the most to you. You do have to kind of start early. I think if you want it up in December, you're going to have to start thinking about it in November or October, kind of getting your mind around what kind of things you want to make. But there are so many fun tutorials for handmade ornaments and Christmas decorations and pillows. And you can just save so much money if you're willing to push up your sleeves and DIY.
Yep. I was intrigued by you said you did rolled up music paper.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I just did this with my kids for homeschool. Actually, we were learning about the Magna Carta, so they made their own little antique images. But if you just want to like print like a hymn, like maybe a Christmas hymn, or the sheet of music, you print that off, and then you put it on a pan with tinfoil, and then just get a brush and spread milk all over your paper. And And then you put it in the oven under broil. Watch it really carefully.
What?
But it will start to brown and crinkle up. You can even like tear the edges before you put it in if you want it to look even more, old. But then it browns, and then I would just roll it up when it was cooled down and tie it with some brown twine and hang it up on the tree. It's really cute.
That is such a cute idea. I was looking to see if you had it on your blog.
Like I said, it's
okay, so you
buried in the archives.
So you have it, but there's
there.
Not many pictures or anything.
Probably not. That was back in the day.
Yeah, I have to really quick tell the story about the time that you and I had a blast looking at old blog posts.
Oh my gosh.
We were at a blog conference and we were looking at all of our old blog posts, and it was really funny making fun of ourselves. I didn't have near the content because I haven't been blogging as long.
Right.
Cami had
I've got some skeletons in those closets. Now people are gonna go look.
I mean,
they should look up my party in the back dress.
Go to
that like went viral.
Then press that little search thingy and search party in the back.
Party in the back. Yes. That was my first magazine feature. Like, that's when I thought I had made it.
I am pretty sure I stumbled upon that in my early motherhood years.
Oh, I'm sure.
I'm pretty positive.
I'm sure.
Because, I mean,
it was awesome.
love stuff like that. There it is. Business in the front, party in the back.
Oh, yeah. I upcycled t-shirts.
So
it was,
cute.
Like, seriously the cutest dress on my little 2-year-old.
Yeah. Is that your oldest daughter?
That was my second oldest. Okay. I believe I made that for her.
Yeah. Funny.
Oh yeah, the pictures. People are gonna giggle.
Yeah, I mean, actually, they might not, because they don't really. I mean, unless you're a blogger, they're not horrible pictures. It's just you've advanced quite a bit since then.
Yeah, what you can't tell, like the wrinkly fabric that I pinned up on the wall behind her.
Oh,
so good.
That's cute. You needed a photo.
Anyway,
backdrop.
Progress.
Yeah,
right. I mean, we all start somewhere, and that's the same for Christmas decor. If you have nothing, just start somewhere and build on it, and just enjoy the journey.
Right. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's sometimes we just lose sight of. Obviously, we lose sight of all of it.
We do, and that's easy for anyone to do. And I think that's why I've appreciated these last few years, where I've just really pared down my Christmas decor and enjoyed it simply and just add to it. It's just the best way to do it.
Yes, I totally agree. Well, this has been such a fun discussion. I got maybe a little sidetracked with the party in the back.
Party in the back. That's all right. It was fun. It's always fun to talk to you.
Yes. I will leave links down in the show notes for every little thing I can find on your blog. And then I have several homemade ornaments on mine. Last year I had fun with little mini embroidery hoop things and put
yes, I remember
sweaters
those.
And grain sack in there.
So cute.
That'd be a good way to tie in any kind of color you want to tie in, because you could throw any fabric in there.
And any kind of thread.
Right. And you can reuse them if you want to change.
So many fun ideas.
There really are.
All right. Well, thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Simple Farmhouse Life podcast. If you have not yet taken the time to give me a review over in iTunes, I would really appreciate it. This is what makes my podcast grow. It makes Apple think that it's a podcast worth promoting. So it would really help for your support there to leave me a review. I believe that we just crossed over, or we are about to cross over 700 ratings. So I would just so appreciate your support there. If you have time to leave a text review as well, that would be great. If not, just hit that 5-star and I will be so thankful. All right. Well, I will see you in the next episode of the Simple Farmhouse Life podcast.